Just outside the neon lights of Albuquerque, the desert hides a secret that was buried for years under the shifting sands of 118th Street Mesa. For half a decade, families in the valley reported their daughters missing, only to be told they'd simply started a new life or succumbed to their lifestyle. But in 2009, a woman walking her dog stumbled upon a single human bone, a discovery that would help police reveal a mass grave of 11 women and an unborn child. Today, we're venturing into the West Mesa, where the wind still carries the names of the forgotten victims of the West Mesa bone collector. You're listening to Lurking in the Shadows. I'm Kirsten.
And we're your hosts.
Yes, welcome back to another episode.
Yes, welcome back.
Yeah, this one today, I didn't mean to be covering so many serial killers or lesser known serial killers, but kind of another one today. I mean, it is,
Yeah,
but
and we haven't really done many serial killers in general, so if we have a few in a row, it works.
yeah, I think people like those usually. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a lot of the time what you always see those documentaries online.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you put this on the case list yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's also called the West Mesa Bone Collector.
yeah, West Mesa bone collector. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one.
Sad.
It is, because we don't have much actually. I mean,
Yeah.
we really
And it's
don't.
because of, what they did. No one cared.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like my last serial killer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
just like a different demographic and
Mm-hmm.
different state, but same lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, all right, we'll jump on in. Let me catch my breath before we get started. I don't pass out. I hope I put more commas in here. What was I thinking? Okay. From 2001 to 2006, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, around 19 women went missing. On February 2nd, 2009, Christine Ross and her dog, Ruka, were hiking in a remote area of the West Mesa, New Mexico. West Mesa is just west of the Rio Grande and at a higher elevation, running northwards through North Mexico. Or, North Mexico. New Mexico. New
It's
Mexico.
close enough.
Yeah. New Mexico. That's hilarious. The mesa where Ross was walking is located in the floodplains where seasonal weather can bring flooding. The mesa is also made up of a lot of arroyos, which is Spanish for brooks. These are washed out paths that fill with water during heavy rains. While Ross and her dog are enjoying a walk along this area, Ruka came across a bone in the ground. The bone looked suspicious enough to Ross that she took a picture and sent it to her sister, who was a nurse. When her sister looked at the picture, she expressed concern to Ross that the bone looked like a human femur to her. Trusting her sister's opinion, she contacted Albuquerque police, who came out and quickly identified the bone as human. After weeks of investigating and sifting through dirt, they discovered the remains of 11 women and one unborn child.
Wow.
Yeah. Police Chief Michael Greer recalls, quote, "It was a huge, huge crime scene. As they found them, more and more parents were getting concerned," end quote. They were all buried in a shallow grave after searching a they were all found buried in a shallow grave after searching a 100-acre area. This discovery understandably rocked the community. This was Albuquerque's biggest homicide and first serial killer. With the help of DNA, all 11 women have been identified.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to go over each victim, starting with Jamie Barella. Jamie Katerina Barella was the youngest victim found. She was 15 years old. She was also the last victim identified in January 2010. In April 2004, she had attended a family gathering that she eventually left with her cousin, Evelyn Salazar. She also was among the victims, unfortunately. They left
Hmm.
the gathering and went to a park near San Mateo and Gibson Southeast. They were never seen again. Unlike majority of these victims, Jamie had no relations to working the streets. She was a regular teenage girl enjoying her day.
A teenager. Oh,
Yeah, just 15.
wow.
Yeah. Her mother, Jane Paris, recalls that day that she left. She accidentally left her curling iron on, and she stated, quote, "I still remember what my daughter was wearing. Blue jeans with high top shoes and a t-shirt. I'm going to keep on asking until I find answers," end quote. Evelyn Jesus Maria Salazar was the cousin to Jamie, and she was 27 years old. They disappeared on March 26th, 2004. She was a mother to two little girls. I read that they were 13 and 7 when they last saw her.
Oh,
Family thought that she had went and started a new life, holding out hope that she was still alive out there. They held this hope for 5 years until she was discovered. Her mother is quoted saying, quote, "It's real hard because I've been waiting for 5 years hoping that she is going to come back," end quote.
it's almost the anniversary of their disappearance.
You're right. Yeah.
It's March when we're recording this.
Yeah. I didn't I didn't try that. All these are definitely like different, but still. My guess is Sibania. Tareen Edwards was another 15-year-old victim. She was the only victim that was not from New Mexico at all. She was a runaway from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
She was reported missing in 2003 by the local police, and they labeled her an endangered runaway. Police used dental records and a sketch of her to positively identify her. She was killed sometime between 2004 and 2005. Police confirmed she was last seen in May of 2004, associating, I thought this was ironic as hell, associating with three other sex workers named Lucretia, Ty, and Diamond. Her last known location was East Colfax Avenue in Aurora, Colorado. They think she was staying at the Ranger Motel. She may have been going by the nickname Mimi or Chocolate.
And how old is she?
15.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
That's
did all the links for all of these. Kirsten, you can get the pictures of all of these women if you didn't put in the effort. But I understand if you don't, it's a lot of them. But they're all young women. Just,
mm-hmm.
you know,
But
sad.
there should not be a 15-year-old sex worker. That's terrible.
It is terrible. East Colfax Avenue in Aurora, uh, I have heard, can be very, very bad.
Hmm.
Still to this day. So I can't imagine back in 2003,
Yeah.
2004. Michelle Gina Valdez was 22 years old and disappeared on September 22nd, 2004. She had a 4-year-old daughter named Angelica Garcia. In an article 15 years after her mother went missing, she recalled being a teenager and dealing with the news of her mother, visiting the area where the bodies were discovered. She's quoted saying, quote, "As a teenager, this was my spot to tell you the truth. I would always make my friends come over here and we would just park on the side of the road and I'd get out and cry. They would never understand why, but yeah, this has been my spot. Not having my mom was hard, end quote.
That's sad.
Yeah. She was raised by her grandparents. Michelle's dad, Dan, is quoted saying, when Michelle Valdez walked into a room, it lit up. Her smile was just beautiful, and I want everyone to know she was a beautiful person, end quote. Michelle was also the one victim that was pregnant, one murdered, and the unborn child's remains were found.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
That's horrendous.
I didn't get confirmation. I only had one source that I wasn't like too behind, but I think it was like 4 to 6 months pregnant or something like that.
Hmm.
But I don't have confirmation.
Yeah.
Next one is Doreen Marquez. She was 24 years old and disappeared on October 10th, 2003. She was a mother to two. Her daughter, Destiny, was interviewed in 2009 during a tribute to the victims. After the discovery, she is quoted saying, I believe that she was an amazing woman. I thought she was so beautiful, and I always wanted long, gorgeous hair like hers. She,
Oh,
yeah, I didn't find her age, but I think she was younger than. I mean, she was only 24 years old when she died, so
yeah. They're all so young.
they are. And a lot of them were mothers.
Yeah.
Monica Diana Candelaria was 22 years old and disappeared on May 15th, 2003. When she disappeared, her mother said they got word she was killed and buried in West Mesa, where they searched for 2 weeks but never found her.
Hmm.
She reported her daughter missing right away, but there was nothing else they could do. Her mother was interviewed when her daughter's body was identified as one of the 11 victims. She stated, I am feeling relieved my daughter was found, and I am thankful, but I am grieving her all over again. End quote.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah. All these victims, I think majority of these victims, I will say, it wasn't, I don't believe it was all of them, but majority of them, even though they were living a really rough lifestyle, seemed like they had family of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. And that's tough as family too, to like know that your child is doing something like that, and
Yeah.
if they did know.
Yeah. Out there struggling on the streets type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Victoria Ann Chavez was 26 years old and disappeared on June 5th, 2003. She was described as fun and outgoing. She enjoyed hiking and camping. Her mother stated, how could one person or anybody do this to 11 girls? That's all I have on her. Some of these I don't have a lot on.
Yeah. Which is even more sad.
It is. It is. Very sad.
Because no one cared to report on these women.
Yeah. Or like,
Find out info.
yeah, talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they were missing for 5 years, 5, 6,
Mm-hmm.
depending. Veronica Romero was 28 years old and disappeared on February 14th, 2004. She was remembered as a smart, funny, and tough woman. Her boyfriend, Clay Dean, was the last person to see her alive. He dropped her off that night for work, stating, I dropped Veronica off on the street that night. I saw her get into a truck, and I never saw her again, end quote. He dropped her off at Wyoming Boulevard and Central Avenue and said it was a white pickup truck. Her cousin was quoted saying, just an outgoing, normal girl who got caught up in a dangerous lifestyle that could happen to the best of us. They got caught up in that lifestyle, but they're still human beings. Somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, end quote.
Yeah, and that's important to remember. Like, these women aren't doing this because they want to.
No,
No one wants to be a sex worker.
no, they do not wake up in the morning excited to work those streets, I promise you.
Yeah. They're doing it because it's the easiest way to bring in a decent amount of money to survive.
And unfortunately, a lot of times It's because they're unemployable otherwise, guys. I mean, they have
Mm-hmm.
addiction, they have bad past, they have records, they have things like that that they would struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So we
And
live
a
in a
lot of them,
society.
as you hear, have children that they need to, pay for, buy food for.
Yep. And we live in a society where, um, like, what are you supposed to do when you're somebody like that or fresh out of prison or,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
so, which I do cover later, something like positive for the sex workers, in the Albuquerque area. I mean,
Okay.
so yeah, the
Yeah.
next,
That's why I'm glad that we're close to like the Long Island serial killer being found. I mean, I don't think he's even gone to trial yet. They're still investigating, but we have a
yeah,
suspect for
thank God.
that case.
Yep.
And I would like to cover the Green River killer as well.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to cover the West Memphis 3 sometime.
Oh gosh,
I know, I'm sorry.
I'll scream
Uh,
that whole episode.
rage, rage, fucking
I'm
rage.
not kidding.
Yeah. All right. This next one, I don't have a lot on her either. Julie Cindy Nieto was 24 years old and disappeared on July 15th, 2004. She was a mother of three kids that her mother then raised, and that was all I could find on her.
Oh,
Virginia Cloven was 24 years old and disappeared on April 13th, 2004. DNA was used to identify Virginia. Her parents, Robert and Elizabeth Clevin, were interviewed by local news. Elizabeth stating, I miss her dearly. She was my baby. This was not the first loss for the Clevins. Their son, Robert Clevin Jr., was killed in the 1990s.
oh
They,
wow.
yeah. They lost communication with Virginia when the tragedy tore the family apart, causing her to try and live on her own. But she seemed to couch surf and find herself in the type of crowd that she was last seen associating with. And that's all I have on her. Cinnamon Elks was 32 years old and disappeared on August 20th, 2004. Her mother was interviewed after her daughter's body was identified by dental records. She lost contact with her daughter after a rough patch in her teens led her down a path of addiction and living on the streets. Once the phone calls from her daughter stopped, she began receiving calls claiming her daughter was dead. She
Hmm.
said, quote, I knew that she'd be out there on the West Mesa. I just knew that she would be there, but I am just glad that she was found and identified, end quote.
Hmm. So who said she was dead and out there?
Both, because like the one earlier, I forget because terrible with names, but the one earlier where they said they had heard that she was dead. It just said they got phone calls that of people claiming that your daughter's dead, but
Like an
there's
anonymous
no other
phone call?
information on that. Yeah, like to the family,
Hmm.
like the family's receiving like harassing phone calls saying like your daughter's dead. So that is all the
Hmm.
victims that were
Makes you wonder, was it
identified.
the killer?
Please, right? Like I don't know, and like
Because
they
they
probably thought
were
nothing
dead.
of it.
Like, they,
Yeah. And the family probably would have thought nothing of it in the sense of like, um, oh my God, I should call. There's a serial killer out there. My daughter's dead or whatever. Like they wouldn't have thought that.
hmm. Yeah.
So, and by the time the bodies and stuff are found, the police are not going to be able to get those phone calls.
Yeah, and they probably wouldn't have taken it seriously anyway because it's, sex worker.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately. Please call the 118th Street Task Force at 1-877-765-8273 or 505-768-2450 or Crime Stoppers at 505-843-STOP with any information you may have concerning the Albuquerque crime, and that takes you also to the Albuquerque police. So I'm going to go over what suspects we even think of.
Yeah.
Police had a huge job ahead of them trying to solve this case. The evidence was minimal, and the killer had years ahead of them. Stephen Jones, who was a criminologist, a police sergeant, and a professor at Rosemont College in Pennsylvania, told A&E, quote, I tend to believe the killer is someone who is targeting prostitutes, somebody who they trusted enough to get into their car with or trusted enough to go to a remote location with, end quote. Police had two main suspects in this case. The first one I'll go over is the number one suspect, and honestly, I think this is probably this to me, this is probably yeah, the number one. Like I agree. Like if I'm going to bet anything, which I have nothing. The number one suspect was Lorenzo Montoya. He was local to the area and was a janitor at a printing shop. He also lived in a trailer located less than 5 miles from where the bodies were found. He had two previous run-ins with the law when he assaulted two sex workers. He also had threatened to kill his girlfriend.
Oh.
The Albuquerque police were very familiar with him. Coworkers told police he had talked about killing women and burning them on the West Mesa. In December 2006, Lorenzo strangled Sharika Hill in his trailer. She was a 19-year-old sex worker. When
19.
mhm. I want you to picture this scene in your head.
Oh,
When her
God.
boyfriend Frederick Williams arrived and witnessed Lorenzo putting Hill's dead body in the trunk of his car, he shot Lorenzo, killing him. Police believe this was not the first time that Lorenzo had killed anybody due to the
Mm-hmm.
brutality of this crime. There was also tire tracks found in satellite imaging that led from his trailer to where the bodies were found in the West Mesa.
Hmm.
However, due to a law in New Mexico where DNA is only taken if the person is booked in jail, so Lorenzo's DNA was never taken.
No.
In 2005, Representative Yamira Garola was working to pass a bill that allows the DNA of a dead person suspected of felonies to be entered into the CODIS database.
You're telling me he's never had his DNA entered for any other crime?
Apparently not, not for, yeah, apparently not. Albuquerque PD Commander Kyle Hartsox believes their prime suspect is Montoya. He said, quote, this bill is all about victim case resolution for these families of the dead or those sexual assault survivors that are still out there. We want to close their case even if we can't charge a person for it, end quote.
I mean, I'm glad that, that boyfriend got some vigilante justice, but still, it's like, dang, now we're never really going to know.
I know, yeah. But also, and I state this later, and maybe I should have put it earlier. Whatever. Um, I don't think I never read anywhere that police stated they have DNA to even compare it to, so I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it was skeletons that they were finding
Yeah, I'm sure
and
there
like
wasn't much
DNA.
else left with
Yeah.
them.
So they never said they have DNA to like compare
Hmm.
anything to. So I also kind of in my head wonder like I get he's saying like he wants to any other sexual assault victims or anybody like that, but I don't know if anybody I don't think we'll be able to ever link anybody to the West Mesa. Not through
Yeah,
DNA
unless they
anyway.
have something they're not sharing.
Yeah. Yep. Which is true.
Hmm.
There is still a $100,000 reward for information that leads to the capture and conviction of a suspect. And also, after Montoya's death, the bodies had stopped in 2006.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting.
And that's pretty chilling also about the satellite footages. Or,
Yes.
yeah.
Right? Like tire tracks that led.
And you said it
Yeah.
was from his house to the West Mesa?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's the guy.
Yeah. Right.
What else do we need?
Yeah. But that would never hold up in court if I mean, he's dead, but obviously, but like that would have
Hmm.
never held up in court.
I feel like it should.
Yeah.
It's his house, and if it's the tracks are leading directly to where the bodies were found, but he was just out there visiting,
Right?
having a picnic lunch.
Yeah, walking his dog, he would say.
Like, well, I feel like that's enough evidence.
I feel like he's out of everybody. And also, like he's Spanish. All these victims are Spanish. I think he could have
Mm-hmm.
got a sex worker like comfortable with him, like they,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like and would have been able to get them in the car.
it's true.
Yeah. The next suspect who caught police attention in 2015 was Joseph Blee. He was finally caught for a string of rapes in Albuquerque that occurred in the 1980s. Blee would break into homes where 13 to 15-year-old girls lived, and trigger warning, he would rape them. And
Oh my
he
god.
was coined the nickname then the mid-school rapist.
Ew.
Yeah, he also was committing these crimes near the McKinley Middle School, which added to his nickname. There was DNA taken from one of the victims, but it was not tested until 2010. This finally linked him to those cases. So, with his DNA in the database, it was also linked to the murder of a sex worker. He is currently serving 90 years for the rapes and murder. The
Hmm.
only connection they were trying to make to Blee was a plant tag that they collected as evidence near the bodies in the West Mesa. But after searching every local nursery, they could not connect Blee. And the reason he was a landscaper.
Oh,
So
okay.
they couldn't connect him making any landscaping purchases with any kind of plant tags to connect him to it. Blee denies having anything to do with the murders.
Of course he does.
He doesn't sound like a solid suspect to me, but
I mean,
maybe.
the other guy sounds a lot better, and plus, it sounds like this guy more targeted. I mean, there were a couple of really young victims that were 15, but
Yeah, but yeah,
if he's targeting middle schoolers, would he be going after sex workers in their 20s? I don't know.
mm, I don't know. I feel like that's a different thrill breaking into a place and doing
Mm-hmm.
that versus
Yeah.
paying for sex. Ron Irwin, who was a photographer and businessman who gained police attention in 2010 while he would frequent the Albuquerque Fair. They searched his properties in Joplin, Missouri. They took tens of thousands of photos from his home, but they have never connected him to the West Mesa murders. Over the years, over 1,200 tips have come in to police. They have also interviewed over 200 women with similar lifestyles to the victims. There are also 9 additional women they believe to still be missing and possible victims of the West Mesa boom collector.
Oh, wow.
I will list these possible victims later. From the time of the original discovery to today, the area has been extensively searched, even using ground penetrating sonar 2 additional times. In 2002, cold case investigator Liz Thompson made a statement about the case saying, quote, "These women weren't shot. There was no evidence that they were shot and killed or blunt force trauma. This complicates the case and makes it a little harder to solve because we don't have the clear indications of what actually caused their death. This person is a predator. He sought out vulnerable women," end quote.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say, I wonder how he was killing them.
Yeah, they
I'm
suspect the
guessing
victims
strangling.
were strangled. Yeah, they suspect it. But which is honestly like what else are you gonna think?
Yeah. I mean, especially during a sexual act, it'd be easy to kind of do that.
Yeah. And a man and doing that to a woman that have unfortunately just like my last case. I mean, he eventually started strangling the women.
Mm-hmm.
So police have also never come out and stated they had DNA evidence directly from the crime scenes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, there's not going to be any semen evidence left behind at this point.
No, and I'm sure they were assaulted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. An interesting theory from Arthur. Dirk Duran Gibson, who wrote several serial killer books and was a former professor at the University of New Mexico, North Mexico, I'm gonna call it North,
That's a new name.
yeah, North Mexico, believed these murders could be the work of organized crime groups or a biker gang. He told A&E, quote, their vulnerable lifestyle put them in contact with a lot of nefarious people. Those women knew something that they shouldn't have known. I've come to the conclusion that there were probably only three people involved in this crime. There was the boss or bosses, and the intermediary and the hitman, end quote.
Hmm. I
I
don't
think
know
it's
how
an,
I feel about that.
yeah, I was gonna say I wrote I think it's an interesting theory, but I don't think the methods match what a gang would do.
Yeah, I don't think they would just like be serially going after sex workers like that. I mean, maybe. I know.
But also, like, if we're talking like a serious gang, they're not burying all their victims in the same spot. I feel like they're smarter than that.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, I think this is more the work of one guy who's
Yeah.
a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. So I haven't read any books of his books or anything, but like I said, interesting theory, but I don't think there's enough behind it for me to feel like that's the answer.
Yeah, like does he know something else to make him lean towards that? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So the list of possible victims was created before the bodies were even found in 2009 by former Albuquerque detective Ida Lopez. So it was
She's the big one
already,
in this case, isn't she? Who
yeah, the
really
big
stands up for
detective.
the women.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And like it's crazy that before these bodies were even found, like it was on her radar that all these women were missing. And then bam, we find 11 of them.
Hmm.
So this list contained 19 women who went missing between 2001 and 2006. 10 of these women were found buried in the West 11. Goodness. 11 of these women were found buried in the West Mesa. The rest are possible victims and have never been found. I'm going to go over each one that is still missing. Darlene Maria Trujillo was 20 years old and last seen on July 4th, 2001. She was 5'5", 130 pounds, wearing a black or white shirt with white pants. She has brown hair and brown eyes. A tattoo of the name Chris on her left wrist. The name Fran is tattooed on her right wrist, and a red and green flower on her left hand. She had a lot of other tattoos as well. Like it would, like Kirsten would sat here and named all yours type of thing. Or Brandon's. Like Brandon, yeah, like
Yeah.
Brandon's.
Oh my goodness. That would take an hour.
Yeah, so Darlene was last seen dropping her son off at her parents' house. She asked them to watch him for 2 days while she went on a 2-day trip to Arizona with a Hispanic man they only knew as Jorge. After a week and no word from Darlene, her aunt reported her missing. It was weeks later when the family saw Jorge again, where he told the family they went to Tucumcari, New Mexico, and not Arizona. When they got into a fight, he says she drove off in the car that they had and he never saw her again. Police have not located this Jorge guy and are looking for him for questioning.
Where are you at, Jorge?
Yeah, bitch. Don't be a punk little
You got
bitch.
you got some explaining to do.
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe your story.
no, you lying, bitch.
So then that makes you wonder, could that have been a one off where this person was just killed by Jorge and just happened to
Well, I don't know.
go
I'm
missing in the same
wondering
area?
what if Lorenzo was just telling him his name's Jorge.
That's true. It could
That's
have
what
been
I was
Lorenzo.
thinking. Yeah, I was thinking it was Lorenzo. It's a Hispanic man.
Well, did the family see him then?
The family saw him weeks later, and she was last seen in 2001.
Because we know who Lorenzo is, so wouldn't family police be able to ask them like, "Hey, is
Uh,
this the same guy?"
that's true. I mean, I didn't find any information that they had asked if that is the same guy, but that's true.
Hmm.
You would think good police work would ask that.
You would think.
Yeah, you're right. See, you'd be good, Detective Kirsten.
We would be.
Yeah, I would just be the moral support. Okay, Martha Jo Luker was 32 years old and disappeared on September 3rd, 2003. She was 5'2", 110 pounds, brown hair that was dyed red, and brown eyes. She was seen by her mother and children when she visited the day she disappeared. She was working the streets with her friend later that night and just never returned.
Hmm.
Anna Love Vigil was 20 years old and last seen on January 21st, 2005. She was 5'6", 130 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She had a rose tattoo with the name Paul on her right ankle. She was wearing a gray jacket, a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and white shoes. She was actively addicted to heroin when she disappeared. She may have had a broken ankle also when she disappeared, and she left behind a 3-year-old son.
Oh.
Yeah. Felipe Victoria Gonzalez was 22 years old and was last seen on April 27th, 2005. She was 5'4", 130 pounds. She had brown hair, brown eyes. She was wearing a blue top, a blue jacket, pink pants, blue shoes, a pink belt, and 8 plastic bracelets. She disappeared shortly after being released from jail. Like most of these girls, she struggled with addiction and one day was just never heard from again.
Hmm.
Nina Brenda Herron was 21 years old and was last seen on May 14th, 2005. She was 5'2" and 107 pounds. She had brown hair and brown eyes. She was wearing a black tank top, blue and white jeans, or blue shorts with baby girl written in black on the butt. You remember those?
Yep.
And white K-Swiss sneakers. She has a surgical scar on her right side of her head. She has the following tattoos: the initial NH on her left middle finger, 3 dots above her left thumb, and a tattoo of an unfinished animated character with a bunny face and a female's body with high heels carrying a half-finished shotgun. She could be going by the name Jasmine. She was last seen at her home on the 8,000 block of Central Northeast in Albuquerque, and she was just never seen again. Jillian Elizabeth Hernandez Ortiz was 19 years old and last seen January 16th, 2006. She was 5 foot, 110 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She has a scar on her forearm and a tattoo of a man's name on her lower back, and her ears were pierced. Her mother talked to her on the phone the day she disappeared. She told her mom on the phone she was going to visit her brother in California. She was never heard from again. Chantel Monique Waits was 29 years old and last seen on March 15th, 2006. She was black, 5'7", 130 pounds. She had black hair, brown eyes. She has 7 teeth missing. She has the word lady tattooed on her right leg, and she is known to wear different wigs.
I
Again,
wonder if the teeth were missing before she died, right? Oh yeah, because we don't have her body. She's just
yeah,
missing.
no. I was just going to say again, these women do not want to wake up every day and go and do this.
Mm-hmm.
They're not having a good time.
No.
Leah Raquel Peebles was 23 years old and last seen on May 5th, 2006. She was 5'4", 105 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. She is known to dye her hair different colors. She has her upper lip pierced. She has other scars on her face from other piercings and also wears glasses and contacts. She had only lived in Albuquerque for only a few weeks before she was last seen dropping her car off for work at a transmission shop. Vanessa Reed was 24 years old and last seen on June 13th, 2006. She was 5'4" and 145 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. She was struggling with addiction. She had a tattoo of a heart on her right hand, the name Amy on her neck. She also has EC on her left ankle. Other names she may go by include Vanessa Lufan Reed or Vanessa Reed Lufan. She was last seen leaving her hotel she was living in at the time. That is all of them. And again, anyone with information is urged to contact the 118th Task Force.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident that probably none of them are alive, um,
Yeah.
based on their line of work. But it makes you wonder if they're not part of the serial killer, like how many other men are just out there killing sex workers?
I'm not saying that every single one of them could be a victim of the bone collector because
Mm-hmm.
people are just pieces of shit. Also, they're living a lifestyle where you do never know.
Mm-hmm.
But I deep down think there's probably ones that may have been his victims.
Yeah. It's just like, where are they? But
Yeah.
also, like, I know it's a very vast area. I don't know if they've
Mhm.
searched every bit of it.
Probably not. I mean, how could you? And also, like, I don't know, he could easily be picking somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, it's huge out in this area.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm sure it's someone local to the area.
Yeah. Yeah. Even for
Like
all
Lorenzo. I mean, he lived, what, 5 miles away?
from where the bodies were found. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously would have been familiar with the area that he could find these women, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go over what has come out of this. So Cynthia Vigil, I don't know if you know that name, Kirsten,
I don't think so.
who was the survivor of David Parker Ray, the toy box killer.
Oh, who?
Yeah.
That story is horrifying.
That one,
That's one of the worst.
that is one of the ones that gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to that recording
Oh,
before you're gonna die, no.
no, thank you. Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
No. So co-founded the organization called Street Smart in Albuquerque. It was created to help keep sex workers a little more safe. One way they did that was creating a weekly bad guy list that women would collectively create of the men who were not good to them or assaulted them. I tried looking into these websites, but I could not find them like active, so I'm not sure if they are still happening today, but it was created in 2019. So I don't know, maybe they didn't make it through COVID. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, And in 2019, when it was created, Cynthia is quoted saying, "It just devastated me because I knew a lot of the women from being on the streets. I don't know when my family would have realized I was missing. I'm just glad that we're able to keep track of the girls, and if someone's missing, we do report it to police, and we do find the family and make sure they're safe." End quote.
Was the toy box killer in New Mexico?
Yeah, I think so. It was
Hmm.
it has a weird name, like a unique
Let me look
name,
it
I
up.
think. Butte, Elephant Butte, New Mexico.
Oh.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Hmm.
um, I can't remember anything, but I can remember that. Okay. Cynthia's main goal was to make sure that the women were safe, which I think is great. Sex work is
Mm-hmm.
not going anywhere, guys, and doing what is
Yeah,
possible to keep these women safe is great to me.
absolutely.
She worked with Albuquerque police to make sure that these steps they have taken remain in place. Cynthia stating, "My main thing was to get that to change, and it has changed." End quote. Also, on June 27th, 2020, Women's Memorial Park was opened by state officials where the bodies were found. It consists of a 1 acre area dedicated to the victims and families.
Good.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is the West Mesa bone collector.
Hmm. It's very sad. I mean, it does sound like he is probably dead if he just randomly stopped.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, out of those 19 women, 11 of them, I think a few more probably are victims of his.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, also, you have to think they may not have found those bones out there, but like there are scavengers, weather.
Yeah.
He could have placed. another body in just the perfect spot that it got washed away or scavenged by animals or whatever.
Yeah. We'll never know.
We'll never know. And that's why this case was definitely more about the victims. But
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have found more information about the victims, unfortunately. But other than Lorenzo, I don't have any other guesses of who anybody could be because we don't have anything.
Yeah, Lorenzo sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Those satellite images.
Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, I didn't see any update from the 2025 bill that's trying to be passed to make it where you can have the DNA of dead felons. Um,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that passes. I mean,
Yeah, they better pass it.
yeah, I think that's reasonable. They're dead.
Yeah.
We're just gonna,
And they're felons.
yeah, we're not gonna do it. What are we gonna do? You know, start racking up their debt in hell.
Right.
You know, give me some family some answers. Maybe that would be nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope. Did you enjoy that, Kirsten? That was yours on there.
Yeah.
Did you know all that, like all the victims and everything?
I know the story, but like I don't remember all of them. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very.
it was a good refresher.
Yeah, I didn't know any of it, so it was all new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was also ironic, come back to Aurora. Keep
Mm-hmm. Oh, for that one girl that was in Aurora. Do
Yeah.
they know how she ended up in New Mexico?
No, because the last she was seen was in Aurora,
Yeah. Hmm.
and doesn't mean that's where her last location was. Just maybe nobody ever came out and said they saw her or recognized
Yeah.
her or something. Doesn't mean she didn't make
Mm-hmm.
her way down to New Mexico on her own, but also I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Unfortunate timing.
Yeah, well, that's why I also think not all the victims are going to be victims of him. I think some of them are just going to be like, oops, not oops, like not oops, but
Yeah.
they're just happening at the same time, but not
Mm-hmm.
associated with each other, type of thing.
It's possible.
That's what I think.
Make Like a Shadow and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at.
Lurking in the Shadows podcast.
If you have any questions, concerns, or case suggestions, please shoot us a Gmail at.
Lurking in the Shadows podcast at gmail.com. And keep lurking around for our next episode. Bye.
Bye.